My name is Johnathan Whitby. I'm a firefighter and medic with Loudoun County Fire Rescue. Been in EMS for the past 23 years. Got my start in 1990 as a EMT and eventually made it up to the medic status. I also do some of the training within the county. And like I said, been with it 23 years and absolutely love it. No, we've never been offered anything. We've never had an opportunity to take any sort of self-defense classes. We're taught in class, and it's beaten into your mind, Scene Safe BSI. You come through the door on every instructor or any test that you take, rather, and it's all about Scene Safe BSI, but they never talk about what to do with to try to make the scene safe if you get into a situation where you've walked into something and it's not necessarily safe. We've never been taught anything like that. I remember one of my preceptors, and this is probably 91 or 92, we got to talking about patients, and he mentioned something about the big green pill, and I never really understood what that was. So I said, what do you mean by the big green pill? And he said, it's an oxygen cylinder. If you get somebody that gets squirrely in the back of your truck, you just give them the big green pill. And that stuck with me over the years, and I've never had a situation where I've had to directly actually defend myself necessarily. But that's one of those things that kind of stuck out in the back of your mind of like, what would you do? And that was the only thing that I reverted to. As an EMS educator, the concept of coming down and learning this material and trying to teach it, it was very attractive. I did make a mistake on a call that I was involved with probably a couple of years ago now, where I willingly and knowingly walked into an unsafe scene. There were distraction factors of kids and all sorts of other things, and we ended up finding ourselves in a situation where it was quite unsafe, and we did have to actually hit our emergency button on the radio to ask for help, and that stuck with me. I realized that there was a chance that based on what occurred and what I put myself and my crew into, that I could have gotten into a situation where I didn't bring myself home that night. And decided at that point it was time to learn something better than what we had done over the years. So found out that this class was being offered. Not only did I want to get involved and learn it myself, but also to try to bring that back as an EMS educator, bring it back to actually teach other people the same material. What I expected out of the class was a lot of self-defense and how to fight back. What I actually got out of the class was more, how do I not put myself in that situation? And that is, if the one thing I've taken away from this class, that's more important than anything, is how not to be in that sort of a situation. But then when you are presented that situation, basic techniques that you can use to get yourself back out of that sort of a scenario, to where it's not about fighting, it's not about going toe-to-toe with somebody who's attacking you. It's how do you get yourself back out of that situation if something does occur. But more importantly was how not to be in that situation. And I think that that's the most important thing to take away from this course. This class, in all of the classes that I've taken, and as you can imagine, in 23 years of doing fire rescue, I've taken my share of classes. This was the most dynamic class that I think that I've ever taken. Kip was energetic, he was passionate, he truly, he comes off within the first hour of class as having an absolute love for this material and wanting to pass that on to others. And it kept my attention, and you could look around the room, again as an educator, you can see it in the faces of others, of whether they're engaged or not engaged. There wasn't another person in that class that was not paying attention to him and not fully focused on him. So just the passion and the desire to pass on his knowledge, that was absolutely incredible. So this is my son Johnathan. This is my other son Nathaniel, and it's my wife Melody. If anything I've taken away from this class is that in 16 hours of taking the first 2 days of this class, I've been able to change the way that I look at things and the way that I prepare for scenes, both mentally prepared and pre-preparation going into the scenes, and then actually once I'm arrived on scene, with the idea being that at the end of this day, at the end of my 12 or 24-hour shift, that I'm going to go home to these guys, and that's ultimately my goal, is that I want to go home to these guys. And like I said, in 16 hours, I've changed 23 years of thinking. I've completely changed the way that I approach everything after taking this class. So the cost is immeasurable, and the only thing that you can do is just look at your family and say, I'm going to go home to these guys based on what I learned in this class. This is going to give me a better chance of getting myself out of a situation and getting home to these guys.